Good afternoon and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing Desert Lizard shocks. What are they? How do they work? And are they meant for your rig? They use internal springs. As you can see here, they fit inside, just like this, and they screw on. You end up, depending how you set them up, with this. Now this is set up for regular use, and this is set up for sag. Okay, so this gets you lower to the ground, but allows you to get your articulation down when you're going over obstacles. As you can see, it sucks back up on its own. These use the body weight of the truck to hold it and then run back up. They do have a negative pressure in them, but very small spring. They're both using the same pairs of springs, just reversed. And by that I mean full sag, small spring on the top, large spring on the bottom. If you're running it standard, the large spring would be on the top, and the small spring would be on the bottom. This is a great setup. However, these are classified as a 90 millimeter shock. Now, they stretch out beyond 90 mil. So here we have a stock axial 10-3 90 millimeter shock. Pretty normal. Versus sag. So this setup is a little bit under, probably about 85, I would say, on how it's set up right now. And when it pulls out, that's way longer than 90. That's more like 100. Okay. So compared to the stock Capra shock, which is, I think it's about 97, you're still getting a little bit more. So, the other thing is, when they compress, the body's longer, okay? So you're looking at about a centimeter more of a longer body. You can adjust this on your frame, on your chassis, to have it ride higher on the chassis with keys or whatnot. On the Capra itself, you can't do that. So you really have to discuss with yourself whether or not you want this. Because these are a good shock. They're decent, and you can hold them low to the ground. This can be set up in droop, which is great. And will allow your tire to extend more, which is great for a rock crawler. Now, depending if you're just doing uphill battles or you're actually doing like a full course type scenario, one might be preferred over the other. So I'm also going to show you what happens with these. This truck is set up for, it was designed to be on a 90 mil shock or under. So as soon as you put in that extra lee, see how much that bends out? You get that bump steer? That's what's going to happen on one of these rigs, unless you hold it up to be at a more stable height, which you do with like a heavier spring. It's not too hard to do. Using them on a VRD is pretty easy. It's not too difficult because it's a servo on axle, which gives it a lot better driving capability. You don't get all that bump steer with the amount that it falls down. But I do have this on full droop setup. I did move the adjustments to be more aggressive inwards and a little bit stiffer on the rear, just so that the truck has more articulation. The same with the front. Now, the stock setup that they have with the stock shock These are a good shock. However, I didn't like the fact that you lose all this adjustment here. That's not threaded at the top. And the shock itself, I think, is a 85 millimeter shock. So you're looking at the same size when it's in droop mode. Okay. However, you can see the difference there. But this will extend out much further, giving it a much better crawl over. So what I mean by that is anything that it's going to be crawling over a hill, it'll grip, top will sag down, or any type of peak. So you'll get that extra bit of grab on the bottom while your skid plate is sliding. So it'll give you a better chance to get over stuff. Now with the Capra, you get that extra reach, but like I was saying, your availability to change or adapt where the shock sits, you've got three positions to throw that into. You can get keys to do that, make it a little bit different on the back, but unless you're going into the top and cutting through this plate here, you're not going to be able to get that any lower. So the way that I'm driving it, it works all right. Troy has his. It can actually suck the winch down. It's got a winch that sucks it down, which will suck it down at probably about another centimeter on top, because he's using the stock Capra shocks. So when he's doing it, he'll go uphill and it'll be like, and it'll pull it way in, which is great for him, but he's running like 4 servos, so less battery life. But yeah, that's it. Those are the shocks. Depending if you like that type of shock or not, you do get a whole bunch of springs to play with them. The other thing that I was going to mention was when you build these and you're putting them on your truck, you have to use a machine head screw, and that's the ones that have the angled bit on it, and that is so they don't get bound. And what I mean by that is if you're using a flathead screw, like a button top, it's flat on the top. So what happens is it pinches right here, and it doesn't allow your shock to move freely on the ball. So you do have to use a machine head screw there, and it comes with them, so that's not a big deal. But thanks for watching, and until next time.